came to us and said, "Hey, do you want to work out?" And I said, "Absolutely, I do not." And he said, "Well, it's really fun." And I said, "I still don't believe you." Um, but he said, "No, check this out." And he presented this really cool beta program where you can work out in your truck or outside the truck.
Chicken trucking, big wheels there humming, high rate of fuel consumption, missing mama, needing loving, rolling with the weight of sound. Running like a southern shaker, I don't need no 40 acres to turn this rig around.
Welcome back to Trucking Fitness Radio, the #1 driver's health and fitness podcast in the world. And we are here to make the trucking industry a healthier place. My name is Mark Monero. I'm the founder and CEO of the Trucking Fitness Company, and welcome to episode 7. I'm excited about this podcast. I'm excited about the impact it's having on our mission, and I feel like we're pushing the needle every single episode forward and helping you guys. And I'm excited about today because I've got two great truck drivers and personal friends of mine on the show. But before I introduce our guest, did you know that you can be on the podcast? We are getting drivers on the podcast, giving you or another driver you know the opportunity to either come on and get one-on-one help from me. You can ask any specific questions you have. I will have 100% focus on helping you find a solution, get you on the path, get you actionable advice of how you can actually live a healthier life on the road. And on the other hand, we also want to hear from drivers who have made a big transformation on their own. I can't tell you how many times I post a video on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I hear someone comments on the video and says, "I'm down 50 pounds," or "I've lost 120 pounds in the last 3 years." And, I think first off, hell yeah, that's freaking awesome. I'm pumped to hear those, and I'm pumped to hear those stories. But also, you've been through that and lost a ton of weight, and, or if you're just staying healthy, I think there's just a lot of inspiration and impact that story and telling your story and other drivers who are trying to go on a journey like that, hearing that can have. So come on, we want to hear your story. If you fall into either of those categories, we want to hear from you. So go to the link in the show notes or jump to truckinfit.com/radio. So truckinfit.com/radio and fill out our show application. It literally takes 3 minutes, but you guys are early right now. We're only on episode 7. The more episodes that come out, the harder it's going to get for you to get on the show and actually have the opportunity to come on and ask for help or tell your story. So thank you for being early. As a gift for that, go to our show, go to our website and apply. We want to hear from you. So today, I'm excited to have two of, I would say, my better friends in the trucking industry on the show. Ron and Blake, thank you so much for coming. And before I let you introduce yourself, I want to give a little background. So our last guest, Jeremy, who was on the show, was also a part of, I talked about how he was a part of before we got started with the Trucking Fitness Company, we had a beta group of truck drivers who tried the program out, gave us a ton of feedback, and Ron and Blake were also in that group. And I can't tell you how much value and how much, number one, I guess, humor to start and just expertise in the trucking industry these two bring, and just so down to earth. So I will say, number one, before we start this podcast, there's going to be a warning. These two are characters, and you might hear some of the crazy, you might hear some of the craziest things or tangents go on. So if you're listening to this and you're a trucker, you understand. If you're listening to this outside of the trucking industry, enjoy the show. But Ron, Blake, thank you so much for coming on. Introduce yourself.
Well, my name's Ron Butler. I've been trucking for about 9 years, and I met Mark through a trucking club that I'm a founder of. We're called the Gritty Diesel Club. We just rebranded, and Mark came to us and said, "Hey, do you want to work out?" And I said, "Absolutely, I do not." And he said, "Well, it's really fun." And I said, I still don't believe you. But he said, "No, check this out." And he presented this really cool beta program where you can work out in your truck or outside the truck. It's great for introverts or extroverts. And if I'll tell you one thing, in the club, I am extrovert number one. There's no bigger
Yes, you
extrovert in the
are.
club than me.
Yeah.
And one of our biggest introverts is actually the chairperson, Miss Blake here. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm very impressed with the program. The people that tested it out, we had people who said they had lost pant sizes. I noticed an increase in my energy. I enjoyed getting up in the morning to do those little 5-minute workouts. The program is a testament to you, Mark. It's an amazing program. You can do this in your truck. You can do it outside your truck. It's so great because it's not like any other workout program I've ever seen, where you have to stay on a schedule or you got to start over. Where your program is literally it's geared toward truck drivers, and so we can work out 3 or 4 days a week, and then if we have 3 days where we're just absolutely too busy or too tired to get up and do it, you can get back up on day 9 and keep going, and you can make it as easy or as hard as you want for yourself. You can modify the workouts. I know a lot of us out there have a lot of sores from sitting down or climbing up and down, and I'm 47 years old, and I'm gonna tell you, these workouts are not killing me. So you can do it. And the one thing I will tell you is take a look at the program and just do something. Just pick something and try to do your absolute best with it. But yeah, Mark, great program.
Well, I appreciate that. And Ron, before we kind of get into it, I appreciate the praise and the testimonial right there. But I want to hear a little bit more of your story. Like, so 9 years ago, what were you doing prior to getting into trucking?
Well, I was in a bad car crash.
Okay.
That's
Oh, wow.
I was sitting around the house. I was in a very bad car crash in front of my house. A police officer was actually chasing another vehicle, and it hit me, and it crippled me for about 3 or 4 months. I was working in a factory making truck clutches, and I also did law enforcement. But that ended all that. I couldn't do that heavy machinery work. I couldn't do law enforcement anymore because, back injuries and neck injuries, shoulder injuries and knee injuries and ankle injuries. It just got too much for me. And so I got a call one day from my wife's uncle, and he said, "Do you ever think about doing truck driving?" And I said, "No, absolutely not. I'm scared of trucks." Kind of like working out. I was afraid of working out. I was afraid of trucks. So apparently my goal in life is to just take on every fear. Next year we're going to do spiders. So, and then heights, and then I'm going to carry spiders and heights and trucking, and we're just going to drive right across the Grand Canyon, and I'm going to ramp the thing like Evel Knievel. That's going to be my next goal. So,
I love it. I love it. And now
You're already like 10 feet up there, Ron.
there you go.
Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
No, are you has it always been over the road? Have you done local? And what company do you drive for?
So I work for the Creek Carrier Corporation. I pull dry van. Before them, I worked as a tanker for Superior Carriers. And that was chemical tanking, and that was a regional job, mostly up and down the East Coast. Every once in a while, they let me stretch my legs. For Crete, I'm definitely OTR. I volunteer a lot for the Walmart Corporation to do deliveries to their stores. I also did Conway Truckload. It's always been over the road for me. My very first truck driving job was, and this is going to be a collective groan throughout the trucking career when the trucking world, when they hear me say this, I teamed with a friend and went to school in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and drove for CRST. Hang on a second. Okay, we had to let that groan go through because nobody's going to hear the next thing I'm going to say. But I'm going to tell you, I've enjoyed all my trucking jobs for the most part. My experience with CRST and Conway and everything, I learned something from each company. That's never forget where you come from.
Yeah.
So CRST taught me patience and map training and trip planning and how to live in a truck with somebody else. God forbid that ever happens again. Because having a team on your truck, it was difficult for me. I'm a very dominant personality. And
No.
Hang on, I have to pick my jaw up off the floor.
So the teaming thing was good. It lasted about 11 months. but I've always done dry van. I have done hazmat. I've learned, reefer. I'm not the flatbed kind of guy. Just too many injuries. Yeah, for me to handle flatbedding. I actually helped a guy the other day just on tarpus stuff, and I felt very gooey at the end of helping him. I was not made out for flatbedding, but
Gotcha.
I've always truck driving was not on my radar of scope of career choices. It just sort of I fell into it because of the accident, and I'm going to tell you right now, I see myself retiring from truck driving.
Okay. Well, there you go. And I appreciate that. And that was some, we've talked so much, and that was some stuff I've never even heard from your background. So I appreciate you sharing that. And Blake, introduce yourself. Tell us who Blake is.
Hi, everybody. My name is Blake Borek. I currently drive for Creek Carrier Corporation, Schaefer Trucking to be specific. I'm working on my third year. After let me see. So I did dry van for about a year, 2 years actually, and I just recently went to the reefer side because that was the only position they had out of St. Louis that was local. And I really wanted to stay with Crete. And so they were like, well, you can have a local position out of St. Louis, but you have to go to the reefer side. So I was like, all right, that's great, whatever. I guess my favorite thing so far about trucking has been the fact that after my first year, Crete awarded me the rookie driver of the year for 2020. For actually 2021.
She's awesome.
There you go.
Thank you, Ron. I don't generally like, I don't like to feel self-aggrandizing that, but I knew Ron was going to mention it, and I figured rather than having everyone's ears be assaulted with the way Ron would say it, I figured I would just put it out there.
I might do it a little bit more on a grander stage than she does, but
Mark, I swear to God, when we worked for the Cheyenne DC, when they were swamped up there after that blizzard, he had me introduce myself to every single driver up there as Blake Borek, Creek Carrier's rookie driver of the year.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I proudly present to you the 2020 rookie driver of the year for the Creek Carrier
I
Corporation.
swear to God,
Blake Borek.
Hey, that's not the worst introduction you could be introduced as.
It is not. It's not. But Ron and I have like yin yang personalities. Like Ron likes to be alone only when it's a necessity, and I like to, socialize with big groups of people when it's a necessity, particularly, which makes it interesting that
we're both verts. Is what
verts,
it is.
Verts.
Yes, I'm extrovert and she's introvert.
Yeah, but I am the chairperson for the Gritty Diesel Club, and I really do love what I do. I get to interact with a bunch of people, and trucking has actually pushed me to be more social, which has been really good for me in general, which is interesting. You wouldn't think that an industry that is
very
sort
isolated.
of it is.
Yeah.
You're very isolated, but it's my work with the GDC that has kind of pushed me to be more social, which I really appreciate. Before I was a driver, I was a middle school English teacher. I don't remember if I told you that before or not, but
yeah, you have, yeah.
I was a teacher for 3 years, and then before that, I was a teacher's assistant, and before that, I was a CNA. And it was just, I found myself, my mother up to that point had been sort of the main breadwinner for the family. I still live with my parents, but my mother got very ill about 10 years ago. She contracted meningitis and almost died. It was really bad. And once she sort of recovered, she had all of these complications that were really difficult to deal with for her, and really difficult for doctors to take her seriously on, because the vast majority of people who survive meningitis don't have any complications afterwards. So, and it's been recently that she's found sort of some success with exercise and intermittent fasting and stuff like that. But for the longest time, she was just bedridden. So you can't really support a household on $9.36 an hour. So it was just this kind of gradual need to increase the amount of money I made. And my family found themselves in St. Louis, and because we had been living in northern Indiana at the time. So when we
Blake
so when
has
we-
a T-shirt that says, "Welcome to Indiana. You're lost, aren't you?"
You're lost, aren't you? I lived in South Bend. If you've never been to South Bend, don't go. You're not missing anything.
Not a vacation spot.
Not a vacation spot, unless you're like a super diehard Irish fan, and then it's great. But you know, never having been too much into the sports ball, it was not that you know, I was not necessarily attracted to that part of it. But so what got me into trucking, and trucking was, I was like Ron. I have 3 friends who are truckers, 2 of whom have been trucking for 10 plus years. And when they told me what they did, you know, as we were first getting to know each other, because I've known them for at least 5 years each. And my one friend say, "Oh yeah, I drive semis." I was like, wow, I would never be able to do that. Those big trucks heading down the highway, I would never be able to do that. But it was kind
Funny
of
thing is I've had 2 accidents with semi trucks before I was a truck driver. I got hit by a bobtail,
really.
and I
I
got
didn't
backed
know
into by a truck in a parking lot. Yes, so
I didn't know that.
my whole attitude about semi trucks was like, that's a solid no.
Hard pass.
I feel
Hey,
like
thanks.
that's for a lot of drivers. Number one, they're like, sometime in my life I said I would never get into trucking, or I never thought I'd be able to, and then all of a sudden you fall into it, and then you're a trucker and you're doing it, and you can do it, and you learn, and yeah, that's
It's
go
a
on, Ron.
difficult career,
Yeah.
to say the least, but it's a rewarding career. Not just every Thursday when the paychecks come along, but the satisfaction of being a truck driver for me is that I get to deliver what America needs every day. When people ask me, "You work, you know, for a truck driver job, is it hard?" I'm like, no, because like the song goes, hey, I'm on vacation, never work a day because I love my occupation, and I truly love my job. I like working for Walmart DCs. I like working OTR, where I get to deliver, you know, finished goods to another factory, and they distribute it out to the American people, because when I go shopping, I expect the stuff to be on the shelves. So when I get to directly impact how America gets their goods, that's a feel good for me. And the big fat paychecks that Creek Carrier gives me are also a very good reason why I love the truck. They have
Well, that
provided
was
a extremely nice living. Well, no, it's a selfless promotion for Creed. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to recruit people, but if you
well,
need
no.
me, my name is
What I
Ronald
was
Butler.
gonna,
And
I
oh
had a
no, go ahead.
different. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. No, I was going to say something on to sort of illustrate that, Ron, which was that what tipped me to driving was a mutual friend of Ron's and mine, George, who also drives for Crete. He's been a good friend of mine for almost a decade.
One of
at
the
this
most
point.
humblest people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, he's awesome. And he showed me, you know, because I was like, I need to make more money, and he said, well, what about trucking? And I said, yeah, I don't know. It's a big truck. I don't think I can do it. I'm scared. And he showed me his paychecks, and I was like, what? These are your
This makes me a lot less scared.
Paychecks?
Right.
It makes me a lot less scared, exactly. And the thing of it is that Crete's training pay, I got paid a week, you know, per week. My 2 weeks of pay like stacked together, because as a teacher I got paid bi-weekly. So my 2 weeks of training pay was more than my biweekly check as a teacher. And I was doing less work.
See, unfortunately, that
crazy.
was not the case for myself.
Oh, that's awful.
Wow.
When I started back in 2013, I made about $15,000 in trucking the first year.
Ooh.
Trucking
Yeah,
has
that's
come.
that CRST money, though.
Yeah, that's that good CRST
That's that
ramen noodle money.
CRST money.
I was very fortunate to have a friend go to school with me. We teamed together. It made things easier because he was a single guy with literally very little responsibility in his life. He was able to feed us, and I was able to send home my $300 a week paychecks to my wife. It
Wow.
almost bankrupt me. But what I learned from CRST is how to handle stressful situations,
Yeah.
how to trip plan. And I'm gonna tell you now, because we didn't have a GPS in our truck. We were learning how to. I learned how to read maps. I learned how to trip plan. I learned how to deal with large cities, because as a team, when you're a team trucker, you go to the major cities because. And Blake will tell you, you will run LA to New Jersey to LA to New Jersey to LA to New Jersey. East Coast has the most amount of people, and all the stuff comes from the West Coast. And so I learned a lot of hard driving skills. And then when I went to my next job, Conway Truckload, got a nice pay increase, learned how to do solo driving, which is it's a different lifestyle. When you get from a team where you're used to having somebody in the truck to going by yourself, you make a lot of weird. Your head is not used to not having somebody in the truck.
You make a lot of really weird decisions, because I
Yes.
teamed for the first year and a half that I was driving, and when I finally went solo, it was an adjustment. It was very, very weird. I was yeah.
You
was very
really
weird.
find yourself double and triple guessing everything you do, even though you know how to do it. Like, can I put cold
Right.
oil into a hot engine? Like, is that a thing I'm allowed to do? Can I, am I allowed to go and, drive to Walmart without asking dispatch now? Because before I had a teammate and we would make those decisions. Now it's just you. But then you realize it gets easier and easier, just like with any job, how to do things on your own, how to become a lot more resourceful.
Well,
welcome back, Blake.
And you mentioned a couple of times, and just everything you were saying about the difficulty of the lifestyle out on the road and just being a truck driver. And I think that's something that was a little bit of, whenever I started the trucking fitness company, because I don't have a background in trucking, right? When I was dipping my toes into it, like I was like, well, yeah, that makes sense. Like, it's a tough lifestyle and other that. And that was like a real culture shock of just how difficult it can be to live a healthy life out on the road. So what kind of, when you guys got started trucking, and then also just even now, are some of the struggles you deal with when it comes to trying to live a healthier life out there?
I think
go ahead, Blake.
Sorry. Thank you, Ron. I think one of the most shocking things, because I remember talking to you about it, Mark, one of the things I think shocked you the most was the fact that we even had a phrase for how difficult it gets out here, which is the no shit, no shower, no shave loads, where you don't have time to even slow down and use the bathroom adequately sometimes. Now we try and avoid those, but there are just times where you gotta shit and get. It's the thing that I think I still struggle with being out here is honestly right now what I struggle with the most is the fact that everybody's driving is deteriorating. People don't understand, and I lump newer, like not newer, but like some truckers into this, and definitely a lot of four-wheelers into this, where it's a lot of cutting dangerously close in front of us, expecting us to be able to slow down as fast as they can, not using turn signals. It's not knowing how to merge onto the highway safely. It creates a very dangerous environment. yeah, it creates a very dangerous environment. And I understand that we are the professionals, and that's, I believe, the reason that more accidents don't happen is because we have people out here dedicated to doing their job the best and safest that it's possible to do it. But the most dangerous thing out here is the other drivers.
And so that just kind of adds up into you're mentally burnt out after a long day of trying to deal with that and the stress. And the last thing when you get done for the day you want to do is put your tennis shoes on and get a workout in.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because like it's the last thing.
Yeah.
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 And the
Go ahead,
lack,
Ron,
the
I'm sorry.
lack of areas for truck drivers to get out and do it safely.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's bad. I'm telling you, you can't just go to a truck stop and walk around. There was actually an incident recently where one of our friends and club members witnessed another truck driver get ran over in Ohio.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
and her granddaughter was with her. The truck drivers kind of like took the granddaughter off and said, "Don't look, baby doll." So we preach safety as one of the biggest things in our club. Safety. Wear your vest if you're outside walking around trucks and it's a low light or dark situation. One of the things that gets me is there's the dining problem. Everywhere's got food, but it's not food that we should be eating. It's very difficult to find fresh vegetables. It's very difficult to find low carb. The salads are okay if you don't mind eating the ones that were made at 8 o'clock in the morning and now it's 10 o'clock at night and they're a little bit wilted. So, finding a healthy food is very difficult for us. And believe it or not, a lot of these places don't want big trucks parked in them unless there's a truck stop there. Walmart is getting to the point to where, because, I'm going to be honest, it takes one bad truck driver to screw it up for everybody else. It takes one bad person to make everybody else look terrible. So
yeah, there's a
you
lot
have to
of
be,
stores that won't let us park there. Sorry, Ron, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
it's okay. It's just very difficult sometimes to get that, to find somewhere we can get out and walk around, to have somewhere we can eat a good meal. And honestly, to have the motivation to get out and do it, because you drive 600 miles in a day and you're driving, into the sun all day. When you get down, you are beat down. You are literally beat down from the sun. You might have dealt with rush hour traffic that day. You might have seen, something that stressed you out. You might have had a long wait at a customer, and that all affects you. So I'm very fortunate. I have a very good support system, not just with the club and good friends like Blake and you to help me, understand I can work out, but, having a support system that helps you while you're on the truck, either solo, is huge. And, my wife is my number one cheerleader, and she has gone out of her way to seal a meals for me, pre-cooked food, put them in a seal meal so they're small and easy to pack into the refrigerator, and all I have to do is warm them up in my little crock pot, and I have a delicious meal. But even then, sometimes it just having the motivation to get up and do it.
Yeah, and I think sorry, go for it.
No, sorry, Mark. There's two things real quick. One, I will say this. Truck stops tend to be some of the safer places out here on the road. There are very few times where I have felt unsafe at a truck stop. But I will say, as a woman, if you're pulling into a truck stop at nighttime or a rest area, getting out and walking around by yourself is not high on the priority list. And I get that, there are varying degrees to that. And a lot of it is, attitude, like you got to walk like you own the place and people will leave you alone generally. But if people are out to, cause mischief, they will, regardless of what you look like. And also the mental strain you were talking about, a lot of people's misunderstanding, I think the major misunderstanding about driving from people who do not drive professionally, is that, well, it's just driving. Why is it so hard? It's just driving. And my response to that generally is, two things. One, you're impatient on your 20-minute commute to work. How are you gonna say that driving for 11 hours is nothing?
Yeah.
Second of all, the thing about office jobs, and I've had office jobs, and even as a teacher, I could do this, where if you need a break, you can take a micro break, like a 3-second, close your eyes, deep breath, whatever. I
Can't
can't
do that
close my
behind the
eyes
wheel.
for 3 seconds.
No.
I can't
No.
close my eyes for 3 seconds behind the wheel. I cannot close my eyes. I can deep breathe, but I still have to constantly be scanning. The recommendation is 5 to 8 seconds. Your eyes need to be moving. So if your eyes are not moving every 5 to 8 seconds, you don't know what's
You're
around
missing
you,
the big picture.
because that's how quick things go wrong out here. And I would challenge anybody who had that assumption about, well, it's just driving, to sit by themselves in a quiet place with their hands like this and move their eyes every 5 to 8 seconds for as for as long as they could possibly stand it, and see how long it took them to go crazy. Because I can tell you, the average driver, it takes about 5 minutes. But
No, I mean, and you bring up a lot of
Go
good
ahead,
points,
Mark.
because I think, talking about it, and actually during the beta test, that was talking about at the truck stop and not feeling safe was something that you brought up, and you were actually a huge pivotal person in the development of the in the truck workouts and stuff that you can do where you don't have to get outside the truck and feel uncomfortable. If it's feeling uncomfortable because people are looking at you because you're one of the only people working out, I know
Yeah.
Ron likes to feel uncomfortable, so he likes to do that.
I
But
I care not. I care not if
no,
people see me
but
working out.
safety, self-esteem, there's a lot of things going on that really stop people from getting outside and doing it. But you really helped me see, hey, okay, well, is this the most ideal situation in the world? Are you going to run a marathon in the back of your truck? No, but you can do something. And you can do a lot of things. And you can just be
Even if
creative.
you're only doing half of you got a 30-minute workout.
20
I'm gonna tell
minutes,
you right
20
now, dude.
minutes.
You got a 20-minute workout. I don't know what it is. I do 15 minutes and I'm like, that's it, Mark. Like you got the sweat out of me. I'm breathing hard. I'm logging this one is good. Like I'm done. The Russian twists, it feels like the Russian backbreaker to me. I mean, I
Oh
get
my
up there and I do my Martian. I do my planks and all that. Like, but it really is just do something. Do something a little bit every day. My wife has encouraged me to get out of the truck and walk. And now sometimes when I remember, I send it into you, but like, hey, we took a 2-mile walk today and I recorded it. It's just literally do something. I mean, you have a workout. I can't remember what it's called. I call it the seating march, where you basically you lift your legs up for 5 minutes. I'm gonna tell you right now, dude. I'm not
It
a
burns.
marathon runner.
Yeah.
It burns. Like that burns. Get a little tired. I'm done. I'm like, I need a beer.
Well,
Man, Mark,
what was
killing
that,
me
Mark?
today. But
Well, okay, so we've got about 15 minutes. Let's go quick, fast fire. I want you to say, number one, your one piece of advice you'd give to drivers out there about how to live a healthier life on the road. And then two, if you want to tie in kind of your favorite part about our program and kind of the experience you've had with the trucking fitness company. Blake, you want to go first?
Yeah, the
better.
thing I would say, number one, my top piece of advice as somebody whose weight has fluctuated a lot over the last 10 years, and who's found sort of various amounts of success with different things, pick one thing. I always set myself up for failure by trying to do too much at once. It doesn't matter. Pick one thing. It doesn't matter what it is. Getting rid of, saying you'll only eat sugar from good places instead of your 50-cent honey buns or whatever it is. Like, pick one thing. It may sound stupid, it may sound small, it may sound like it's nothing, but if you pick one thing and you stick to it, you can build on that as it gets easier and easier. But you have to pick something and start.
I love that.
the other thing, the sort of what was it, my favorite thing or the most
Yeah, your
successful
favorite
fitness?
favorite thing about our program and kind of what your experience has been with the trucking fitness company.
When I first did Trucking Fit consistently, along with the diet plan, I lost about 20 pounds. And I have since put about half of that back on, but due to life circumstances and everything. But I'm telling you, and everybody who's listening, if you stick to it, it works with the diet, with the workouts. And the thing of it is Mark has really listened to truck drivers. Like you have surveyed so many
Absolutely.
drivers and
Absolutely.
listened to what they had to say. And the thing that I love about the workout is that it's as tailorable to your situation as truck driving itself is. So if all you can do is the 5-minute workout, do the 5-minute workout. If all you can do is like one set of each thing of the longer workout, do one set of the longer thing of each workout. Like, but pick something and do it every day. You will only see results with consistency, and that's with anything. And everybody who's been in trucking for a long time knows that nobody starts out backing like they've been backing for 8 years. Nobody does that. And it's the same with working out. Anybody who wants to tell you, oh, well, this is the magic cure. Well, it's the magic cure with consistency. So that's what I love about the app is literally at the end of the day, when I was over the road, I would set my brakes, I would change into my workout clothes, I would turn on the app, and the app talks to you and it tells you what exercise to do next and for how long. And it was really it became this decompressing thing for me where I literally just went into autopilot. The brakes pulled, workout clothes went on, went back into the back of the bunk because I'm a bigger girl. I don't like to be looked at while I'm working out. So I went into the back of the bunk, I worked out, I did my thing, and then I was decompressed for the day and I had more energy. I could do stuff after my workout, whereas before I would just pull my brakes, kind of go into the back, maybe eat something and then fall asleep. But
Well, that was
those
15
are my
minutes, Mark. Thanks for letting us on, and it's
yeah,
been a
Oh
great
my
you're
show.
welcome. You're welcome.
No, that
I'm
was
more than happy
amazing.
to
Thank
take
you
up
so
all of your
much.
time, Ron.
The
Good job.
introvert
Yeah.
took
Yeah.
up all
Thanks,
15
Mark.
minutes. I am so
I
proud.
did not. It's been 5 minutes, Ron.
No,
You
you're
have
good.
10
You're
minutes to
good.
talk.
Ron, go. Ron, tell us what you're tell us
Now,
What
tell
Ron,
was the
us what
question
you
now.
again? I was just
so
watching. I was just listening.
what's your
You didn't
what's your
li-
one piece of advice to drivers out there trying to live a healthier life? And then, on top of that, tie in kind of what your experience or favorite part about being in the Trucking Fitness Company's program has been.
So I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to hit on what Blake said. Start out small, but do something. If you can only do it every other day, then do it every other day. Start out small, because I'm going to tell you, when you're out of shape and you don't have that stamina and you're like, I could do a 30-minute workout. No, you can't. You're talking about a guy who used to
No, you
run
can't.
6 miles a day to stay in shape.
Oh.
No joke. I didn't always look like this. I know I got the hippo posture going on now, but the shape I picked in is a pair of what I don't know. But start out small. The program works. I lost 15 pounds the first month when I was on it every single day. I lost 15 pounds. I was watching what I ate, do something. The 5-minute workouts are amazing. I call them my 5-minute wake up workout. Alarm goes off. I put on my workout gear, which is if my curtains are closed, my underwear, and I do my 5-minute workout.
No one needs that visual. No one needs some visual.
No, I can show you. It's
No.
I'm just surprised there was even underwear involved, honestly, if your
my
curtains are
Sometimes.
closed, Ron.
All right, Ron,
it's not
keep
that
going.
impressive. My favorite thing about the program is when I'm watching Mark and those tight pants doodles workouts, I start sweating right away. No, the easy, the easy, consistent workout that you have laid out makes it the best for me. I can watch the video, watch how you do the workout, and then literally listen to you need different music. You listen to the music and go along with it and listen to the countdown. It's a very short little workout. but it's easy. It really isn't that hard. You don't realize you're breathing hard until the end of that workout. Then you're like, oh, why am I breathing so hard? All I was doing was lifting my knees up, because it's so easy. You just get into it. You don't realize it. And it's a great program, honestly. One of our beta testers lost in the first month 2 pant sizes out of the Gritty Diesel Club. Yeah. And she said I was doing the diet that she had planned for herself. I had cut out drinking sugary drinks for that month while I was working out.
Huge for you. Huge for you.
Right.
That's a,
yes.
Yeah, that was absolutely huge, Ron.
Now, I'm going to tell you guys, one of the worst things in truck driving is depression, diabetes, and dining. Okay. Depression is going to get us. We get very lonely. Get a support system, even if it's one friend, even if it's joining this program and talking on his chat group, or get with somebody in your family and have a few friends that you talk up to every day, because mental problems are huge. Diabetes, sugary drinks, the high carbs. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, I check my blood sugar and I have type 2 diabetes. It's a struggle every single day to keep the weight off, because once you intake too much carbs or too much sugar, your weight goes on. You feel terrible. You don't feel like doing anything. And dining, you have to prepare your meals. You have to pick better. The pancakes look great for breakfast, but go with the cheese omelet. Go with the bacon and sausage.
We touched on that, Ron.
Did we?
Yeah, earlier. You remember we were talking about.
I totally don't pay attention to anything. I'm going to let you
know.
No,
you're right. I like the three. I like the
saying,
3Ds. Depression, diet.
I'm not really. Yeah, I'm not really that surprised. But we were talking about the restaurant list on the app.
Right.
I was
that's
adding
right.
to your diet thing, the restaurant list. It's set up for the reality of trucking. That
it really is.
Sometimes
the restaurant list is amazing.
Yeah, and we're revamping it. We actually just added. We're up to like close to 40 different restaurants, and we are adding. We have a truck stop guide, and we've got a generalized one, and we're also adding the 3 specific ones. So if you go to Love's, you can pull it up, and you've got specific what's going to be there, and it's going to be awesome. Yeah, and I think to kind of end it off and kind of get done with this podcast, I wanted to kind of give you the Gritty Diesel Club, or GDC, a little shout out, because when I first started in the trucking industry,
we are awesome, aren't we?
Yes, you are. And when I first got started in the trucking industry, one of their members reached out to me on Facebook and said, "Hey, come jump on a call." And I jumped on a call. I'm all of a sudden on a call with 20 different truck drivers, and I'm like, "What the heck is going on right now?" And they just opened.
I remember that phone call. It was great.
Yeah, they welcomed me with open arms. The nicest people in the world. And really, when you talk about a support group, you hit the nail on the head there, because that's everyone in your guys' club is there to build people up and not break them down. And if they start breaking people down, you guys are the first people to say, "Hey, you need to get out of here or snap out of it." And I think that type of environment is literally life-changing for a driver, especially when you start talking about depression, mental health, and just the isolations out there on the road. So, I just want to say, thank you so much, both of you. Thank you so much, GDC and the whole community out there. And, you guys all will have a part of my heart and part of the trucking fitness company for the whole, time that we're in business, because you guys were really a critical part of the growth and the development of the program. So thank you so much for both coming on.
Well, thank you. No, I am very proud. Hi, honey. I am very proud that you came to us. I'm very happy that happened.
Absolutely.
I do have one question for you though, Mark.
All right.
Since you know this is going to be a big one, right? So have you learned how to read a map yet? And have you gotten away from GPS, Mr. Marinara?
Well, thank you so much for listening to the show. If you want to check out other episodes, go check it out. And Ron and Blake, thanks for coming on.
Trucking, big wheels there humming, high rate of fuel consumption, missing mama, needing loving, rolling with the weight of sound, running like the southern shaker. I don't